at Your Own Risk. Episode 11 is getting underway, and it's been pretty cool. I did ask a couple, people, or I asked on my Instagram, if any, or on my Instagram and Facebook, if anybody had any questions, topics, anything they wanted me to, in particularly, bring up. And I did get some pretty cool questions. I'll get to them today. One of the things I do want to say is obviously I have a race coming up on February 22nd. I'm going to be racing the Legacy 500 up in Parker, Arizona. And I'm just pretty excited that I got an opportunity to race once again in a spec trophy truck with Chuck Dempsey. Invited me to go help team out, and so I'll be out there. I think it's Kirk Harkey's truck, and so I'm looking forward to being back in the spec truck again, and that should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it again. One of the cool things is I'll still be using Baja Brian's notes, I believe, for that race as well, which I think are valuable asset at this point, of using those for racing. And I think they make a difference. Obviously, there's many other ways to do that, but again, I'm looking forward to being out there in Parker, and looking forward to seeing a bunch of people out there. And before I start today's episode, episode 11, I do want to preface that I am in no way a professional. What I'm sharing, what questions I've been asked, and what I'm going to answer is my own opinion. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not. I've just been doing this for I've been a navigator and off-road co-pilot. This being my 15th year, and I'm just willing to answer any questions that anybody has. In particular, if you do, if I do ask, a question and you send me one, and it's a valid question as far as for me to answer, I'll answer it truthfully, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability, with at my personal opinion of what I think, um, in that subject. If you ask me something, I'm going to give you my honest opinion and my experiences of being in the right side and navigating off-road racing for the past 15 years in several different vehicles. Obviously, this year being the first time I get to be in a spec trophy truck, which I'm enjoying. I'm having a ton of fun doing that. But again, I'm in no way a professional. Do not take my word as gospel truth. I am just sharing what I feel, and what I've experienced the last 15 years. So so I did get I got several questions, and I'll try and get to them all. Hopefully, it's not boring, but if you're willing to listen and hear what I got to say, then I'll gladly give you my opinion as far as what I think. And one of the questions that was asked was, how do I handle a stressful situation during a race, and how do I keep a driver calm in those situations? So I think the biggest thing when it comes to being in a stressful situation, whether you blow a corner, you flip, or you just do something. Let's say you break a component on the car, and then you got to fix it, get out. One thing I will say, it does take the wind out of your sails, as far as in that moment. Obviously, depending on what you're doing, what you're having to do, if you're having to change an axle on a UTV, or just a flat tire, or a drive line on a truck, or you're having something's leaking, whether it's your steering or you're having an alternator problem. There's I think it comes down basically to the driver, whatever driver you have. If they're going to have some, you know, mechanical skills that can kind of help you uh, diagnose what you're trying to fix. I think for the most part, I've mentioned it before. I'm pretty blessed that My father taught me how to be a mechanic. Not that I wanted to be one, but he just showed me how to fix things on my own and not have to basically depend on somebody else to be fixing my equipment or my trucks or my vehicles or whatever it is I own. So luckily, I can do that stuff. But in a race situation, I would say that the best thing is to obviously somebody has to keep a clear head in any situation. I know there's been situations where we broke down one time out in the middle of nowhere, and I knew how to get back as far as to a pit. Um, in an area where we could, walk far away from the course, by the way. Never stayed close to a course. I just knew where we needed to go to get to a pit. I do remember in that situation, the driver I was with started to question whether I knew where the hell I was going. And I literally had to turn around and say, look, you have to trust that I know where we're going. We're not going to get lost. And it was getting dark. I remember that point, and we forgot to bring flashlights with us. So it was, I just knew we knew where we were going. I could see lights, and I knew that if we kept going in that direction, we'd be fine. Again, obviously, we did make some bad decisions. That was early in my when I started to be a co-pilot. So, I did make that mistake. We didn't bring enough things with us to make sure we were going to be safe. But luckily, I knew we weren't that far, so the walk there wasn't going to be that bad, and then we were going to be able to get back to the truck. So in that one, it wasn't that bad. I know that when it comes to whether you blow a corner, maybe you even went the wrong way. Maybe I just because we're all human, we're going to make mistakes. You went the wrong way. You went down literally down maybe about a mile or 2 miles down the road, and you're like, oh, you were supposed to turn right back there, and you just completely blew the corner. I mean, you just you spaced out, and that's happened to me. I'm not going to say like again, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. We've gone down the wrong course, and the worst part about that one, I will say, is when somebody else goes down the wrong course and you see lights coming towards you because you're coming up to a corner where you're going to go like a hard left, but there's another car coming from to you from far away. um I've been in those situations as well, and I've told my driver at that point, I said, hey, get off to the side and wait till this guy gets to us or makes the turn before us, because I do not want to, have a head on collision. So my thinking is always be safe and make the right call, even if it's having to wait for that guy to come back and get back on the course in front of you. I mean, I know that it sounds horrible, but to me, my life is more important than trying to figure out what that guy's doing, because I don't know if they know where they're going, and they may come straight at you. So in those situations, I defer to safety. I mean, just do make the right call. Um, and the other thing too, let's say you blow a corner or something like that, and your driver's completely just frazzled. I've had drivers completely be frazzled, and I find that the best thing that you can do is to calm that driver down and let them know, look, there's plenty of, depending on what big of a race you're running. Maybe you're running a 600-mile race and something happens at mile 210 or 190. There's still a lot of race left. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. I know sometimes the getting a flat tire will, take the sails out. And sometimes the other thing that happens is when you do get a flat tire, then your driver tries to make up time, and that can get a little dicey as well. So, um, in those situations, like I said, I think the biggest thing is to analyze things with a clear head and know that you have to just do the best that you can at the moment with what you have, and just be as positive as you can. I mean, I know that's difficult, but I think that it's possible, and I think if you both keep a good head on your shoulders, you'll be fine. So, again, my biggest thing is just roll with the punches, and know and try and keep the clearest head of both of you in that car, and maybe maybe you know the guy well, you've raced with them many races, and so again, in my 15 years of just different drivers, there's guys that I've yelled at because I've been with them so long, and it's like, did you not hear me? There's guys that are for the first time I've gotten in a vehicle, and I try and be, as calm as I can with them and let them know, like, look, as long as we do what I think we should be doing, what lines we should be taking, we should all be fine. So, that's the biggest thing is, how do you handle a stressful situation, and how do you keep calm in those situations? I think you just have to use your head and make sure you're making uh, a call for for everybody involved there, you and the driver. I think that's the biggest thing, and I think I think it's just very important that you keep a clear head in those situations. So I think most people, I'm guessing, that know how to do that, especially if you're in the navigator seat. I think you have to be a lot in that vehicle. So um yeah, so that's my thing, my answer on how do you handle a stressful situation, and how do you keep the driver calm, is just use your head and be smart about everything that you're doing, entirely. So another one was, I had somebody ask me, how do I get called for um to go race with somebody? And that's an interesting question because, one, I do obviously a lot of my social media stuff. People know that I navigate. I obviously make it very well aware that I navigate. If somebody wants help, I will give it to them. If somebody, and I'm not just saying help as far as getting into a vehicle, I'm saying if anybody wants any help with anything. I mean, I've this past week, I had people asking me about the Snore 250 that just happened, and if I had old maps, and I'm like, yeah, I have old maps. If you want to see an old map, I'll send it to you. Just send me a chat on my, send me a DM on Copilot Mafia or my Daniel Plaza One, and send me your email. And if I have the map that you can kind of look at, again, please don't take it for granted that that's what the map's going to be. But for the most part, at least you'll be able to see some of the terrain and get a little bit familiar of what it's going to look like, especially if maybe it's your first race. But again, I'm willing to help anybody that asks me for information. If you want to know something, send me a DM. I'll answer you. I'll tell you what I think. Um, this past week, I uploaded a video of the old legacy course that I wanted to look at and do some homework on it. And I immediately had people asking me, "Hey, how'd you get the map?" I did not get a map. The map doesn't come out until like 5 days before the race, or 6 days before the race, I think, something like that. I do not get anything ahead from anybody. I do not have an advantage from anybody. What I do have is old maps, and I'm going to always study an old map. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Like, if your navigator that you have isn't doing that, then I don't know what to tell you, man. But again, I'll look at old maps, and I'll look at old footage because I have a ton of footage from races. I'll look at that stuff. I know, again, terrains are going to change, directions are going to. You might do it clockwise one year. You might do it counterclockwise the next time, or vice versa. You know, courses are changing, and they're going to change them. One of the good and bad things is that obviously here in the U.S., most of the time when you ask for a permit, they're going to allow you to run certain courses and certain areas. So it stays pretty basic sometimes, and you'll know most. I mean, at least me, I'll know some of the terrains and what sections look like depending on where you're at. So um, but how do I get called? I kind of went on a tangent there, but how do I get called on to be a race? And I'll normally, somebody will send me a message on DM, or somebody that knows me, or somebody that knows that I maybe I can navigate for somebody or co-pilot for somebody. They'll just send me a message, and I'll respond back. I tell them, hey, send them my number, ask so that I know what race they're doing. Do I have time available to take that? Am I already committed to another team? One of the things I will not do is if I give you my word, um, and we've made a commitment that, hey, I'm going to navigate or co-pilot for you for that race, and somebody else calls me, whoever calls me first is the guy that I'm going to help. I'm not. I have had situations where guys are like, well, let me talk to you in a week, and then we'll figure it out and see what we can do. And during that week, somebody else will come to me and say, hey, I need you. You're locked. You're getting. Then whoever I can get in, for sure a ride, I'm going to take that and then let the other individual know, hey, you know what? This other person, contacted me, said, hey, I need you for this race. I'm going to commit to that. And they have my word that that's what I'm doing. So, that, so how do I get called to races? That's how that's people know that I do that. I think a big picture, if you want to be into doing that as well, my suggestion is to do as much as you can on your social media platform if you have one, and say, "Hey, I'm a navigator. I co-pilot. Does somebody need me?" Um, I don't think it's desperate. I think those are positions that are necessary, and I think if people don't know that you do that, they're not just going to magically know that you're a navigator. I'm sorry, like that's not going to happen. So my suggestion to everybody is like, if you do navigate and that's what you want to do, then make it so. Like tell people. You can send me a DM message on my, Copilot Mafia, and I'll put your name out there and say, hey, this guy's looking for a ride. If that's what you want. If you don't want to be known that, hey, I want to navigate, but I don't want anybody to know, then stay there where you are, and hopefully somebody finds that magically you navigate. Like, and good luck to you on that. But for me, that's my biggest thing is like people know I do it. I enjoy doing it. I take it serious. It's fun, but again, I do take it as like a responsibility that I need to deliver on to whatever team I'm helping. And again, I'm not saying that I'm the greatest, I'm the best, in no way. I do. I look at old maps, old videos, and I take care of myself, conditioning, body, and everything else, to be at the best of my ability to do it for whoever may call me at last minute. So, one of the things is always like, stay ready so that you don't have to get ready, and go have fun, do it, and be that guy that people want. Say, hey, you know what, that guy's serious about it, and I am. And luckily, I have a normal job as well, but I get the opportunity to go do these things because that's one thing I enjoy. I'm passionate about it, and I love it, and I can't wait for whoever needs me for something. So I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And the other thing is, obviously, when people know that you're doing it seriously, I think people will recommend you, saying, "Hey, you know what? I think I know a guy that seems to know what the hell he's doing." And you know, I I can't uh, I can't stress enough that um, make it known that you are serious about it. And so I'm lucky, I'm fortunate that that's how I get called on races. Hopefully, I mean, my expectation would be that I could be with just one team and one race series, so that I know, okay, I have these 4 races I'm going to race this season, or 5 races in this series or that series in this truck. If that doesn't happen, then I'm sitting in the sidelines waiting to see who may need me. And the other thing is, I have faith in God that I will put in the work, and He will find me somewhere to put me. Like that, there's a team out there that may need me to help them in some way or another, and I'm going to end up there. And if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it's okay. I'm putting in the work that I believe will put me where I need to be, And if it doesn't happen, it's okay. It ain't the end of the world. Like life is a fun. It's a blast, and I think we can all do have fun with it. And it's not like it's like, oh, it didn't happen for this race or that race. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. So that's how I get called to races. People send me, a DM on my Instagram or Facebook, or people that have my number, just give my number to somebody else and say, hey, call this guy. This guy knows what the hell he's doing. Again, I take it seriously. I make sure people know that I'm taking it seriously, and that I'm willing to put in the time and the effort and whatever else I need to do to make sure. I mean, the other thing, if somebody's practicing on a weekend and they're like, "Hey, I want you to come out and get in the truck with me and see how you think and blah blah." blah." I'll take my own personal time and go down to that location and get in the vehicle, the truck, and see how we mesh. So again, that's how people get a hold of me, is like, and probably doing this, I mean, probably helps obviously, but that's not, to me it's just fun, man. I enjoy it. It's a blast, and I get to meet such amazing people in the off-road community, to have fun and go out and enjoy being out in the desert. So um another question that I had got asked too was, how do I make a decision on who you do and don't race with? And that one actually comes down basically to, again, like I said before, if you ask me and I have time and I can go do it, I'll probably say yeah. I don't. One of the coolest ones that I think I've had the most fun is probably when I get invited with somebody that I've never met, never got in a car with, and maybe sometimes even it's their first race ever, like they've never raced before. Those, for some reason, in my head, feel the most comfortable. And I don't know if it comes down to me being, again, me being confident in that I know what I'm doing. I know certain terrains. I know that if you stay on the right side of one course, to the left side when you get into this mile marker or this or the other one, um that's, I enjoy that. And being able to share that with somebody that doesn't, I mean, that maybe is the first time or first time I've gotten in with them, um it's a lot of fun for me. And I have had people ask me that, how in the hell do I get into a vehicle with somebody that I don't know, never met? How do I put that type of trust in getting in some with somebody else that I've never met, don't know? And I think, again, I think it comes down to my faith, that I believe that God will put me where I need to be, and regardless of whatever the outcome may be, I put my faith in that, and that that there will be a positive outcome from it, one way or the other. I know that when I just did this race with David Ziegler at the Unlimited Parker race, I made a joke with him. It's like, the engine blew up, and we made what, 134-mile loop, and we made it to the main pit. And I told him, I said, what's interesting, the way I look at it is, God was like, I'm going to let you go make one full lap, and I'm going to get you back to the pits, and then I'm going to blow the engine up at mile 3, so that you're still in the pits and you're not stranded out in the middle of nowhere. So that's where I take my faith, is like that, um that everything happens for a reason, and it's meant to be that way, and I'm okay with it. And you just go on and you go to the next race. And so that's how I make my decision of who I do and don't race with. I would have to say that I've normally, actually, I know that I've never said no to anybody, to go race in something. Even when it came to racing in a Jeep Speed, I went and did that. I didn't know how crazy that was going to be, but it was fun. And I won't, I don't, I probably won't do it again, but it was fun. It was an experience. But again, I say, if anybody, how do I make that decision of who I do and don't race with? I would have to say that I probably have never told anybody, no, I'm not going to race with you. Even people I've never met. Um, and so, that's the fun part about it for me is that getting to experience just different people and different types of people that I think makes life awesome, man. Like it's beautiful. Life is beautiful when you get the opportunity to just experience a lot with a lot of different people, and I think that's to me is fun. So how do I make a decision? I normally I just say yes. That's my decision. I'm like, yes, I can take the time off. I can make it there. When do you need me? All this stuff. I'm again fortunate that I can manage to pull that off somehow in my life and with my family. So that's how I make the decision. I'm like and if any, I mean, I like I said, I don't think I don't think I've ever asked anybody what vehicle we're racing in probably until afterwards. Maybe I mean I've had people tell me, oh, it's this car, it's that car. But for the most part, I'm open. I enjoy the opportunity to go do something, and if I can, I will, and if I can't, I'll just say no, I can't. So that's my thing is if somebody reaches out to me, how do I make my decision on whether I am or not going to race? Probably just more doesn't come with to do anything with the individual. It just probably has more to do with my schedule of whether I can make it or not. So that's my biggest thing on that. Um, and then my last question that because I've been going pretty far here. My last question that I got was, how did I get to where I am right now? Like, how did I manage to keep moving from one team to the next, and then ultimately, right now, I'm getting a lot of opportunities to race in spec trophy trucks, and that's to me that's, I mean, I'm not going to lie if I didn't tell you that eventually that's where I wanted to be. Obviously, everybody wants to be in a trophy truck with the big, with the big guys. Um, but I would have probably at this point have to say I'm okay if I don't get that opportunity. I'm the spec trophy truck class right now is a lot of damn fun, and I don't I don't know that I mean, if somebody asked me, obviously in a trophy truck, if they wanted me, if I could help them, I'm probably not gonna say no, depending obviously on my schedule. Um, but how did I get here? I think the biggest thing I want to say about that is that I just never gave up. I never, um, even when people questioned that maybe I was taking it too serious, maybe you're overdoing it, you're just, um, I can still remember someone that I consider to be a friend telling me back, I'm talking, 15, let me see, I've been doing it for 15. So I'm going to say maybe 13 years ago, maybe 14 years ago, when I was first starting, I did have someone I considered a friend tell me, why are you taking it so serious? You're just a co pilot, you're just a navigator. Like, what's the deal? Like, come on. Like, that's like, you're not the driver, which, yeah, the driver gets all the glory. That's fine. I'm willing to say I was a part of it, and even if I get no glory in it, it's okay. That's the God-given talent I was given is to navigate and co-pilot and do all the other stuff, change the tires, change belts, and whatever else I got to be doing. But that's my God-given talent. That's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to embrace. So I think one of the greatest reasons why I probably got to where I am was because I realized that you know I I realized that I was good at what talents I was given, and I knew that that's what I needed to do. And my best, um, the best outcome for any team back then and now, I always think of is the best outcome will come when I get the opportunity to navigate to co-pilot in a vehicle, any vehicle. I believe that I give that team a better opportunity, a better chance at a finish, or make it on the podium. So that's what I believe in. I mean, that's So how have I gotten here? I think with hard work, dedication, um, perseverance, and discipline. Because there's times where I haven't had a ride, and you know what? I continue to do the things that I feel I need to be doing to better my skills, better myself as an individual. So, that's the biggest thing is how did I get to where I am? Because I believed in me. And I think the biggest thing is, one of the things, it's obviously very cliche. They say, why should anybody believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? And I think that's the greatest thing is like, yeah, believe in yourself. Why not? And go do what you think you're capable of doing. Do it to the best of your ability and do it not to be better than anybody, but just to better yourself as an individual person that will make the betterment of a team even that much better. So again, like to me, it's not has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with that team that you're helping. So how have I gotten to where I am now as far as in the racing? Um, that, and I think on top of that, I want to, and I know, I don't think I know on top of that, it has to be the experiences, the friendships, the people that I've met, the people that know me, the people that know what I've put in. And the greatest thing is the people that believe in me. I can't let those people down. I can't. Um, they, those. There's been a lot of people, individuals that have believed in me so much that they're willing to stick their neck out and say, "I know a guy. Here's the guy," and that's awesome, man. To me, it's like there's no better feeling than to know that I've done the work, and regardless of what happens, um, God finds a way to give me an opportunity to do and help and race another race. And I think that's been my biggest probably blessing is that how have I gotten to where I have gotten now is believing that it's possible. And even when it's not and hasn't been possible, I still believed it. And I still said, it's going to happen someday. It's going to happen someday. And it's going to happen someday. And I think that has been, um, it's been fun. It's been pretty awesome to know that, just keeping my mind in those moments and those opportunities, that I know I'm blessed and that I know that people are watching. So I think that's my biggest thing is if you are thinking of racing, if you're thinking of if you want to be a driver. I know this is a co-pilot podcast, but I'm always going to try and convince people to be good navigators, good co-pilots. I think that the industry, I think the off-roading community as a whole needs those people, and I think that there are some good individuals out there that know how to do this, and I'm hoping and willing to help anybody that wants to get better. I'm getting old, and there has to be a generation coming up that wants to navigate and be those people that take that position moving forward. And and if I can help anybody, any young individual, old individual, whatever, I don't care. Again, I appreciate everybody that's given me that opportunity to race and extended a seat in their vehicles and their trucks and their cars. And I just can't thank you enough that I am where I am today because you gave me an opportunity, you believed in me, and you said, "What the hell?" So I appreciate it. And so anyway, I've gone pretty long today and on this podcast, and hopefully, like I said, if hopefully you're individuals, people out there are getting something. If you want to share this with a friend or somebody that's looking to get into racing, they can always reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, at Copilot Mafia, at me, Daniel Plaza, Daniel Plaza 1 on Instagram. Um, or if you know somebody that, that might know me, reach out to them, say, hey, how do I get a hold of that guy? I'm more than willing to help anybody in any way, and to the best of my ability. So again, that's all I'm sharing about that. And again, I'm like I said, I'm not a professional. This is just, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying life and the opportunities that I'm given. So, hopefully, this is entertaining again. And if you're going to be out at the Legacy Parker 500, look forward to seeing some people out there and having some fun. And good luck to everybody. And we'll actually probably by next time, hopefully, I have a good story and to share of from my race at in Parker, and then we'll see from there. So again, thanks everybody, and have a great week.